Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like you had to fill the silence with meaningless chatter just to avoid an awkward pause? What if I told you that those moments of silence could actually be some of the most powerful moments in your communication? Welcome to Thought Rally channel, and today's video is about the power of silence. Silence is a tool that is often overlooked in our fast-paced, noisy world. We are constantly bombarded with information, and we feel the need to fill every moment with words just to avoid an uncomfortable silence. But what if I told you that the power of silence could actually be the key to more effective communication? In this video, we're going to explore the benefits of silence and provide you with practical tips for using it to your advantage. So let's dive in and discover the power of silence together. Number 1. Pause before responding. One of the most effective ways to use the power of silence in communication is by pausing before responding to a question or statement. This can be a challenging skill to master, especially if you're used to feeling like you need to respond immediately to every question or comment. However, by taking a moment to pause and reflect before speaking, you can improve the quality of your responses, show that you are thoughtful and considered in your communication, and even build trust and rapport with the person you're speaking to. Psychologically speaking, pausing before responding can be a powerful way to demonstrate your competence and confidence in a conversation. When you pause, you're giving yourself time to gather your thoughts, organize your response, and consider the best way to communicate your message. This can help you avoid stumbling over your words or saying something you regret, and it can also demonstrate your expertise and knowledge on a particular subject. In real life, pausing before responding can be particularly effective in job interviews, meetings, and other professional settings. For example, imagine you're in a job interview and the interviewer asks you a difficult question. Instead of rushing to answer, take a moment to pause and collect your thoughts. This not only shows that you're thoughtful and reflective, but it also gives you time to provide a well-considered answer that showcases your skills and expertise. Another way to use the power of pause is to give yourself time to process and understand what the other person is saying. This is particularly useful in situations where emotions may be running high and where a quick response could make the situation worse. For example, imagine you're in an argument with a loved one and they say something hurtful. Instead of immediately responding with your own hurtful words, take a moment to pause and process what they've said. This can help you respond in a way that is more constructive and productive, rather than simply reacting in the heat of the moment. Number 2. Allow for silence in conversation. Another powerful way to use the power of silence in communication is by allowing for silence in conversation. By allowing for silence, you're giving the other person space to process what you're saying, reflect on their own thoughts and feelings, and respond in a way that is thoughtful and considered. When you're comfortable with silence, you're showing that you're not afraid of awkward pauses or silences, and that you're confident in your ability to hold the conversation without constantly filling the space with meaningless chatter. In real life, allowing for silence in conversation can be particularly effective in one-on-one conversations, such as those with a romantic partner or a close friend. For example, imagine you're having a deep conversation with your partner about a difficult subject. Instead of constantly filling the space with your own thoughts and opinions, allow silence after each point is made. This gives your partner the space they need to process and respond in a way that is authentic and meaningful, and can help to deepen your connection and understanding of each other. Number 3. Use silence to convey emotion. Another way to use the power of silence in communication is to use it to convey emotion. Silence can be a powerful tool to convey a range of emotions, from sadness to anger to joy. By intentionally pausing and allowing for silence, you're giving your audience time to process the emotion and to connect with the feeling on a deeper level. One way to use silence to convey emotion is by pausing before delivering a particularly emotional line or statement. For example, imagine a public speaker delivering a speech about a difficult subject. By pausing before delivering an emotional statement, they can give their audience time to reflect on the significance of the statement and to connect with the emotion on a deeper level. Another way to use silence to convey emotion is by intentionally remaining silent in the face of a particularly emotional event. For example, imagine a person attending a funeral. By remaining silent and allowing themselves to feel and process the emotion, they can connect with the feeling on a deeper level and experience a more authentic emotional response. Number 4. Use silence to show respect. Using silence to show respect is another way to utilize the power of silence in communication. When we remain silent in certain situations, we are showing respect for the person or the topic being discussed. This can be particularly important in situations where emotions are high or when discussing sensitive topics. One way to use silence to show respect is by remaining silent during a moment of silence. This is often done during remembrance events or to pay tribute to someone who has passed away. By remaining silent during this time, we are showing respect and honoring the person or event being remembered. Another way to use silence to show respect is by remaining silent during a person's emotional outburst. For example, if someone is venting their frustration or expressing their sadness, remaining silent and giving them space to express themselves can be a way of showing respect for their emotions and their experience. Number 5. Use silence to avoid saying too much. Using silence to avoid saying too much is another way to leverage the power of silence in communication. When we remain silent instead of speaking impulsively, we can avoid saying something we may regret or divulging too much information. This can be particularly important in sensitive or delicate situations. One way to use silence to avoid saying too much is to pause and reflect before responding to a question or comment. This can help you to gather your thoughts and respond in a more thoughtful and strategic manner. Another way is to simply remain silent when you feel yourself getting emotionally charged or triggered. In essence, by using silence in these situations, we are giving ourselves time to process our thoughts and emotions and to choose our words carefully. This can help us to communicate more effectively and avoid saying something that we may later regret. In conclusion, the power of silence is a valuable tool in communication that can be used to convey a range of emotions, demonstrate respect, and avoid saying too much. By using silence strategically, we can communicate more effectively, build stronger relationships, and avoid misunderstandings. To use the power of silence effectively, it's important to be mindful of its potential impact and to use it intentionally. This means taking the time to reflect on when and how silence can be used to enhance communication and build deeper connections with others. In a world where we are often encouraged to speak up and be heard, sometimes it is the power of silence that can truly make a difference in our interactions with others. So, the next time you find yourself in a situation where words fail, remember that sometimes the most powerful message can be communicated through the power of silence. Thank you for watching, and we hope you found this video helpful. Please subscribe to our channel to watch more videos like this.